Today I'm sharing some of the last meals I made before we finally left our old apartment and moved into the new one. I also want to show you how easy it can be to use what you already have at home instead of constantly buying more ingredients. For the first recipe, there's already a dedicated video on my channel and a recipe on my blog, but I couldn't resist filming my lasagna again because it's genuinely one of our favorite recipes. This time though, I added red lentils, so let's see how it turned out. Lately, I've been replacing part of the passata with blended canned tomatoes. It gives the sauce a richer tomato flavor, more acidity, and a fresher taste. One vegetable I never skip in lasagna is zucchini. Besides the flavor, it adds a lot of moisture. As I mentioned, you can find the full recipe on my blog, where it's easy to follow on your phone or tablet while cooking. I start by heating olive oil in a large pan, ideally one with a lid, although I forgot to use the right pan this time, as you'll see later. I sauteed the zucchini until softened and lightly golden. Then I add red lentils, which won't require soaking and cook very quickly, along with the TVP. I stir everything together and add the seasonings: salt, paprika, oregano, basil, and nutritional yeast. For the sauce, I add tomato paste, passata, and the blended canned tomatoes. I also had a block of frozen spinach, which I decided to let melt directly into the sauce while it cooked. I wasn't sure how it would work, but since I didn't have any fresh herbs, I wanted to add some greens. Instead of red wine, I used balsamic vinegar. I don't usually pre-cook lasagna sheets, but these were thicker than the ones I normally use. While the sauce simmers, together with the lasagna sheets, I prepare the bechamel sauce. Mine is cashew based, seasoned, and very simple to make. Once everything is ready, I pour some passata into the baking dish, slightly diluted with water because I wanted to use up what was left in the jar, and spread it across the bottom. Then I start layering the lasagna sheets, placing them side by side with a slight overlap. In the recipe on my website, you can clearly see what goes into each layer. I like alternating the cashew bechamel between layers so the lasagna feels lighter and less heavy. I let it cool and set for a little while before slicing, and that's it. It's ready. Oops. You can see the lentils, but you can't really taste them, which is good, I guess. But they add like texture to the soy. Very good. I ordered celeriac online and honestly wasn't expecting it to be that big. I originally wanted to use it in a soup, but I knew I'd have plenty left over, so I decided to make a few different dishes with it. I also had a lot of carrots, so I decided to make fritters. I started by slicing the celeriac into thin strips and did the same with the carrots. I had a package of silken tofu and thought I'd blend it and use it as the batter to hold the fritters together. Creative idea, I know, but was it worth it? I'm not entirely sure. I poured the batter into a bowl and gradually mixed in the vegetables until I reached the ratio that allowed me to form fritters sturdy enough to fry. I cooked them in a non-stick pan with a little oil until the edges turned golden, then carefully flip them. I felt like they need a bit more cooking in the center, so I finished them in the oven. To be honest, I wasn't a huge fan. I'm not sure if it was the silken tofu or the strong celeriac flavor, but it was still worth experimenting with. With the remaining vegetables, I made a salad, which turned out much more successful than the fritters. I added a red apple cut into strips similar to the vegetables for sweetness and freshness. Also added dates, which I've been loving in salads lately. I really enjoy how they pair with salty and tangy flavors. For the dressing, I mix everything directly in the bowl, lemon juice, and since I don't buy mayonnaise, I use Kir soy yogurt instead because it's very thick. And I add black Indian salt, pepper, and olive oil, which gives it an eggy flavor and a mayonnaise-like texture. Sometimes I add Dijon mustard as well. I think after it will sit a bit in the fridge, it will be more easy to eat, because now it's just, and more flavorful, because now it just needs to soak the dressing. But it's very good actually, as it is, but I think after we wait it will be much better. So into the fridge. I also had some toppings in the fridge that I'd prepared earlier, baked tempeh and lentils. I added them after the salad had chilled for a few hours, along with sesame seeds and walnuts, and they made a huge difference. Okay, now for these pancakes, we make them at least once a week, and they use ingredients you probably already have at home. Plant milk, oats, rolled or quick oats both work, chia seeds, cinnamon, baking powder, salt, a banana. It doesn't need to be very ripe since everything gets blended. Tahini, a date, and vanilla extract. I close the blender, give it a little shake so the oats don't get stuck, and blend until smooth. The batter should be fairly thick, so if it seems too thin, add more oats. I heat a large pan over medium heat. I love making tiny, kid-sized pancakes, so I simply spoon small amounts of batter into the pan. You can use measuring cups and make larger pancakes if you prefer. They just take a little longer to cook. When the edges look dry and begin lifting from the pan, after about 2 minutes, I carefully flip them without pressing down. Then I cook them for another minute to a minute and a half until the second side is done as well. My favorite way to serve them is with berries, strawberries, yogurt, coconut flakes, maple syrup, and sliced almonds. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon. Bye!